Huawei Technologies is a Chinese multinational technology company which sells consumer electronics and smartphones. It's headquartered in Shenzhen, Guangdong. The company was founded in 1987 by Ren Zhengfei. Huawei's new China campus is divided into 12 European-style towns. It's a 25,000-person campus. The Oxhorn campus is divided into 12 towns, each designed to mimic a different major European city. The campus has a lake and enough room to accommodate up to 25,000 employees. Huawei campus comprises various facilities for factories, business, and employee housing. Huawei's new China campus is very large and big. You need a tram to take you around the campus from one place to another. In September 2014, Huawei faced a lawsuit from T-Mobile US, which alleged that Huawei stole technology from its Bellevue, Washington, headquarters. T-Mobile claimed in its filed suit that Huawei's employees snuck into a T-Mobile lab during the period of 2012-2013 and stole parts of its smartphone testing robot Tappy. Huawei new smart eyewear glasses announcement in collaboration with Gentle Monster. In that sense, they're like a Bluetooth headset or earphones, so you can use them to make or receive calls or hear audio from your phone. But they lack a lot compared to some smart specs of the past. They don't have a camera for stills or video, for example. CNEX, a microchip company backed by Microsoft and Dell, has filed new allegations in a Texas lawsuit accusing Chinese tech giant Huawei and one of its executives of stealing trade secrets. It's the latest filing in a suit set to go to trial June 3. CNEX claims that Huawei spent years trying to steal its data storage secrets, while Huawei has countered with its own suit, filed earlier this month, against CNEX. Huawei company have denied any wrongdoing. Huawei is accused of presenting an espionage threat by U.S. security agencies. U.S. security forces have warned that Huawei equipment could be used to create a backdoor into foreign mobile and data networks. Look at it this way. In China, stealing other people's design and technology is not a problem. And the government encourages it. The founder of Huawei has a very strong connection to the Chinese government. The Chinese government actually pays a bunch of people to commit espionage and steal technologies from other countries. Once Huawei's 5G installations goes global and is used by many Western countries, including Huawei's phones, imagine how easy it will be to steal almost every country's technology and personal data of citizens to empower the CCP Communist Party. Following the outbreak of COVID-19 that severely impacted the world and put a stop to literally almost everything, China is openly refusing its ill handling of the virus, which is making the world to suffer. This shows how China is capable of doing anything and will bully and lie its way out of it. Another thing to note is, Huawei's boss admits that he himself uses the iPhone and buys iPhones for his family. He values privacy and knows his phones are not secured and also knows the CCP's agenda on Huawei as a whole. The European Union told its members on Wednesday that they should limit so-called high-risk 5G vendors, a category that includes the Chinese tech giant Huawei, but stopped short of recommending a ban on the firm, despite a lengthy and aggressive campaign by the Trump administration. The rollout of 5G mobile networks in Europe will certainly be delayed by the coronavirus outbreak, Huawei says. The Chinese company is one of the major manufacturers of essential equipment for 5G networks. Huawei said continuing the 5G rollout was the best way to ensure connectivity during the crisis. But senior executive Eric Zhu also told reporters the delays could last until the time when the pandemic is brought under control. Answering questions about its annual report, published on Tuesday, Huawei Vice President Victor Zhang said there would definitely be an impact, but it would not be as significant in the UK as the rest of Europe. The first priority was to ensure the existing network was reliable, as people were using it to work, entertain and learn from home, he said. But given the demand for bandwidth and better coverage, the quickest way is to use the 5G deployment. We need to accelerate the network bandwidth to make sure everyone can work and can entertain and can share information, he said. Mr. Zhang pointed to rural areas in particular, where existing mobile broadband coverage is not good enough to support people working from home. Huawei had gained access to most European countries, including the UK. To install or be a part of their 5G network, this was a great success for the Chinese Communist Party to have access to technological intelligence and espionage of the West easily. This is also one more step for the Chinese Communist Party to enhance their plan of communist control over the world, including their Belt and Road project. Neither the European public nor European political and business leaders fully understand the threat presented by Xi Jinping's China. Although Xi is a dictator who is using cutting-edge technology in an effort to impose total control on Chinese society, Europeans regard China primarily as an important business partner. They fail to appreciate that since Xi became president and general secretary of the Communist Party of China, CCP, he has established a regime whose guiding principles are diametrically opposed to the values on which the European Union was founded. The difference, many American intelligence officials argue, is that Huawei would be required to comply with a Chinese government request to spy on customers or manipulate networks. In an interview with Chinese state TV this week, Huawei CEO and founder Ren Zhengfei admitted to buying Apple iPhones. Ren was addressing calls for an Apple boycott in China after Huawei was blacklisted by the US, according to the South China Morning Post. As America wages war on his company, Huawei CEO Ren Zhengfei has made an unlikely intervention in support of one of his biggest rivals. In an interview with Chinese state TV on Tuesday, Ren confirmed he is a fan of Apple. iPhone has a good ecosystem, and when my family are abroad, I still buy them iPhones, so one can't narrowly think love for Huawei should mean loving Huawei phones. Huawei CEO Ren Zhengfei knows that, with having an iPhone, you have security and privacy, unlike having Huawei phones when you can be spied on at any time by the Chinese Communist Party. The Trump administration on Friday moved to block shipments of semiconductors to Huawei Technologies from global chipmakers in an action that could ramp up tensions with China. The U.S. Commerce Department said it was amending an export rule to strategically target Huawei's acquisition of semiconductors that are the direct product of certain U.S. software and technology. The department added the announcement cuts off Huawei's efforts to undermine U.S. export controls. Following an executive order that gives the federal government the power to block purchases of foreign-made technology deemed to be a security threat, Google announced that it had pulled Huawei's license to use Android. Huawei says it designs the processors for its Android phones, but it's still heavily reliant on foreign components. But without Google's software, Huawei will not be able to compete on the technology market with all the latest and high technological advancements now. Although Huawei says it has developed an Android and Windows replacement of its own and is supposedly at the ready to implement it if needed. Still, if the commerce order holds up, Huawei will be forced to find a lot of replacements all at once. Australia had earlier banned Huawei at its 5G network involvement. The UK is now reconsidering the involvement of the Huawei in its 5G network. Japan has now also banned the Huawei in its 5G network. Huawei is a very big part of China's plan to tighten its control over the world just like it does to its people. For example, imagine China succeeded in its plan to install 5G in countries around the world, it will have the capabilities of spying on every technology and everyone. This means that, in the long run, China will be able to extend its communist control on everyone using its technologies, and no one will be able to do anything because they control the technology and will get ahead before you even attempt. Imagine a world with China as the communist leader.